Long before the first stone of the Great Pyramids was even laid, Egypt was already terrified of the dark. To understand who Osiris truly was, we must travel back to a time before the pharaohs. The hidden truth? Osiris wasn't born as the king of the underworld. Archaeologists have discovered that he is actually a fusion of forgotten gods. He hijacked the staff of an ancient shepherd deity and stole the title of a primordial canine god known as the Lord of the Westerners. But how did a simple shepherd spirit become the most worshipped god and the first mummy in human history?
In pure mythology, Osiris is the son of the sky and the earth. He was born to be a king of flesh and blood, Egypt's very first great ruler. Legends say humanity was living like wild animals in absolute chaos. So, Osiris descended. He taught men how to cultivate wheat, brew beer, build society, and honor the gods. It was a true golden age. He was so beloved that his skin was often depicted as green or black, the color of the fertile Nile mud that gave life to everything. But remember the universal law. Where there is extreme light, the shadow is always watching. Set, the god of the desert and storms, was boiling with envy for his own brother. In a meticulous, cold-blooded plan, Set built a magnificent sarcophagus tailored to the exact proportions of Osiris. During a grand banquet, Set proposed a dark game. Whoever fit perfectly inside the box would keep it. Many tried, but the moment Osiris laid down, the trap was sprung. Set sealed the box with molten lead and threw it into the Nile. The king of Egypt drowned in the dark, betrayed by his own blood. When Set stole the body a second time, he didn't just want to kill Osiris, he wanted to erase his existence entirely. He dismembered the king into 14 pieces and scattered them across Egypt. His devoted wife Isis traveled the Nile in absolute despair, gathering every single part. But there was a terrifying problem. She only found 13 pieces. The 14th fragment, the very source of his creative power, had been devoured by a fish. Without his complete vital force, the physical body was useless. The king could not be reborn. It was time for something far more ancient and dangerous than the physical world. It was time for high magic.
To defy death, Isis invoked Thoth, the primordial god of wisdom and master of the words of power. Thoth gave her the secret spells, the exact mantras that could reconnect a soul to a dead vessel. But she still needed the engine for this magic, the creative spark. Isis forged a phallus of pure gold to replace the lost 14th piece. And in this moment, the greatest alchemical ritual of antiquity took place. Isis transformed into a falcon of pure light and hovered over her husband's body. She activated his sexual energy, the primordial spark of creation. Through this magical ecstasy, the fusion of life and death, she conceived the avenging son, Horus. His earthly force drained, Osiris finally descended into the darkness to claim his eternal throne as the judge of the underworld.
Glory, honor, strength. Everlasting is my reign.
But what if I told you The true magic of this myth didn't happen in the deserts of Egypt. It is happening inside your brain right now. To the legendary psychiatrist Carl Jung, gods don't live in the sky, they live in our unconscious mind. The story of Osiris, the dismemberment, and the alchemical magic isn't just an ancient fairy tale. It is the most perfect map ever created for the process of individuation, the journey of destroying and rebuilding your own soul. Pay close attention, because you are about to discover which of these gods is controlling your life today. In the theater of your mind, Osiris is your ego, your conscious mind. He is the version of you that thinks it has everything under control, but it's a stagnant, naive order that doesn't see the danger coming. Enter Set, the archetype of the shadow. Set is everything you repress, your anger, your primal instincts, your internal chaos. When Set murders and cuts Osiris into 14 pieces, this represents your psychological fragmentation, a financial ruin, a brutal breakup, the dark night of the soul. Your psyche shatters into anxiety and a loss of identity. But Jung teaches us a disturbing secret. Set is the ultimate catalyst. Without the destructive force of the shadow, your ego would never leave its comfort zone to evolve.
When your intellect is destroyed by the shadow, logic cannot save you. This is when you must awaken Isis, the Great Mother. To Jung, she is the anima, the intuitive, magical side of your psyche. She is the mediating force that descends into the depths of your suffering to pick up your broken pieces. With intuition and love, she literally puts you back together. And what happens to the old you? Osiris does not return to the normal world. He becomes the king of the underworld. In Jungian terms, your old ego dies and transforms into the self, an ancient wisdom rooted deep in your unconscious, guiding you from the inside out. From this inner alchemy, Horus is born, the archetype of the divine child. He represents your future potential, your new awakened ego. And this new you is infinitely stronger. Horus faces Set in an epic battle, but pay attention to the greatest secret of Jungian psychology. He does not kill Set. You cannot destroy your shadow. You defeat it, you integrate it, and you master it, restoring absolute balance. We are all the characters in this story. We all go through moments of being a shattered Osiris. We must activate our internal Isis to glue the pieces back together so we can finally be reborn as Horus, ready to rule over our own demons.
But what about you? What stage of the myth are you in right now? Is your empire crumbling at the hands of Set? Are you gathering your broken pieces with Isis? Or have you already been reborn as Horus? Drop your answer in the comments below. If this knowledge unlocked something in your mind, subscribe and hit the bell. Until our next journey through the shadows.
Leave a like if you seek the truth.